Hello, people. We are live. Welcome to our first event. My name is Diana Rodriguez. You can see my Twitter handle is there, Kotufa82. And I am the organizer of GDG Durham. This is our very first event, and we're extremely happy. I say we because probably we will be more organizers very soon. For the moment, it's just me. Needless to say, I am definitely excited to welcome you all to this International Women's Day in May. Oh my goodness, I even forgot what month it is. We have amazing speakers tonight, but before introducing them, we have a very special raffle, and I want you to take note of this link. I will share it before the end of the event and at the end of the event. This is a form that I want y'all to fill out, and it's a feedback form. It will help me and the future organizers to provide better content and amazing things for events and for our community. And if you fill out that form, you're participating for a raffle. We're going to be raffling an Amazon gift card, $100. We're going to be raffling two $50 Google Play gift cards. And we're also going to raffle a Spotify membership, like a full year paid. So make sure you fill out the form. I will be sharing the link throughout the event, and at the end of the event, I will give you time to fill it out. And also, please don't forget to follow us. This is our Twitter account. It's at GDG Durham, and we'll be letting you know of more exciting things we will have in store. And tonight is a night to celebrate people, to celebrate women, to celebrate the fact that we're starting our first event. And we have amazing speakers, and I am so excited to have these amazing women join us. Our first speaker is not only a good friend of mine, but also one of the women that I admire the most in this industry. Her name is, I always forget your name, your last name. I never pronounce it right. Stacy Devino, right?
Yes. Just the best way to remember it is to say Stacy, the dev I know. So
well, she's the dev I know. This is her Twitter account. She is not only one of the most accomplished developers, she is also a mentor and someone I look up to, and the person I go for advice for pretty much everything, from cooking to coding to mentoring to community to everything. It is my pleasure and my honor to welcome you to be the first speaker in our very own first event for GDG Durham. Stacy, the screen is yours. I will share.
me on the screen? All right. Can you see it, everyone? Or actually, can you switch the two so that the slides are big and I am small? Thank you. Awesome. Hello, everyone. I am here to help you get happy, get known, and get paid. You are elite, but maybe nobody knows it. So a little bit about my story. How did I get here? Why am I talking to you about this today? Like many of you, I was the very studious child, always trying to be top of the class and, doing pretty well academically. And then kind of after college, oh, honey, I thought I was gonna, take on the world, be highly successful, and it was a dumpster fire. I took a job I needed, not a job I wanted, and I knew that I would absolutely hate, unfortunately enough for myself. And I just wasn't finding that same success, especially the same kind of success that I had in the academic world. And the truth of the matter is, there's a lot more to it than just pure performance. It doesn't even always compute, that, okay, you are performing the highest of anyone. Why are you not necessarily seeing those same gains that you're seeing in your colleagues or even people among your same age group? Or, why are you maybe being passed over? Or, they dangle that awesome either promotion or raise, and at the end of the year they're like, oh, I know this wasn't what you were looking forward to, but here's 4%. 4%. It's like, I had a job once where I got a 4% raise after a year, and when I left, they literally hired 4 people to do my job. That's insane, right? So, kind of what happened with all of this is I kind of took that time to really go through and evaluate what's going to make me happy and what's going to make me successful, and then how do I actually capitalize on that? How do I actually turn that into something I get paid for, or at least that I'm known for, so that I can turn it into that dollar bills, y'all. At the end of the day, it's great to have, you need to have the first 2, right? But ultimately, to get paid for it is pretty darn awesome. And to be paid appropriately for what you're actually providing to the company. So let's start first here. You can't really move up and through and be fulfilled without first getting happy. How can anyone appreciate you when you don't appreciate you? Let's start with personal care. Well, actually, in this case, there's a number of awesome talks that I highly recommend on this, and links are here. Of course, you will receive the slides, but I'm kind of not going to focus on that. I'm really going to focus on what are the touch points you really need to take into account that aren't necessarily being covered. Remember, this is kind of a high-level talk on what are the real steps to success. Why would you need to get happy, right? When we self-regulate well, we are better able to control the trajectory of our own emotional lives and the resulting actions based on our values and sense of purpose. Wow, that's crazy. So it seems like once we actually have our kind of emotions and happiness under control, it makes it a lot easier for us to actually get a lot more done and continue along those paths. You have to learn to say no. This is one of the hardest things, and honestly, I struggle with it a lot. But you have to say no to things. And the reality is that you're not necessarily disappointing someone by doing so. You have to do it in order to care for yourself. You have to love yourself enough to set boundaries. Your time and energy are precious. You get to choose how you use it. You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept. These are incredible boundaries. If you are always taking every single time that it is, well, we need someone to work late in order to take XYZ, it just becomes expected, and it's eating into you and your personal time, and you aren't necessarily being appreciated for it. You have to take those boundaries and make them consistent so that you can actually move through and be successful in the ways that you want to. Don't judge yourself. Raised hands, even though we're all remote here. How many people judge themselves against their coworkers or colleagues or people you know in your profession all the time? This one's really, really hard. But there's some very good reasons why we shouldn't be constantly judging and comparing ourselves to others. You need to be kind to yourself. Remember that when you abuse yourself, you will experience the anger, regret, and apathy of the bully, as well as the depression, anxiety, and insecurity of the victim. Wow, that's pretty profound. So when you're comparing yourself to others, when you are saying that you're not good enough, it's a double whammy. It's not necessarily you just trying to push yourself. It's you literally eating into your own happiness and your own success. And by creating that anxiety, you're also creating stress. And stress literally kills. What are some things that stress does to the body? Actually, why is this not animating? Play? Oh, okay. For some reason that was weird. Okay, just a second. I want to figure out why this didn't show up. Fly in from bottom. Oh, why is there a whole other? Okay, sorry. Presenting again. All right. Okay. So as far as what does stress do to the body? First, it causes sleep problems. If you're somebody who's stressed out, it's really hard to sleep. I know we already have enough problems when it comes to too much screen time, especially in the bed. And, you know, when we go to sleep, when we wake up, that's its own set of things. But yeah, it can make it really hard to sleep and really hard to get to sleep or even have high quality sleep. Muscle fatigue. Wow, that's definitely combined with the first one. So if you can't sleep well, you're going to get muscle fatigue. It also will cause you to tense up your muscles and not be able to kind of let go of any kind of tension. You can get headaches just from thinking about things, tension headaches, little bit of issues with dietary things can happen as well as part of with stress. And the last one, lack of sex drive. Wow, this sounds like a really awesome coworker already. Just shaky, constantly having to drink a lot of coffee, having a lot of headaches. Wow, this already sounds like somebody who's really good at producing code or just being around, doesn't it? But what does it also do? It attacks your mind. So it's causing even more anxiety. You can't focus. You have anger. Possible, it can even develop into depression. Yeah, this is a great coworker. This is an A+ team member in my book, right? I want you to take time to invest in yourself. And what do I mean by investing in yourself? Well, quality tools of your trade. If you are someone who works constantly on a keyboard and a mouse for a living, and I know that we have all kind of moved into home office situations at the moment, it is kind of a good thing to invest in a good quality keyboard and a good quality mouse. If you are using those free ones that you got the first day you came in, how are those holding up for you? Did you leave those back at the office? How many of you are just wanting to find a keyboard at the moment? Well, quality tools of your trade are going to make you feel better about what you're doing. It's going to make you, in some cases, it actually will make you more efficient. I moved to small programmable keyboards a number of years ago, and I enjoy the active typing, which actually makes it more fun to actually code because it feels like you're actually doing some sort of game. Have a hobby. And that could be gaming. That could actually, be movie watching if you're doing so attentively. I don't necessarily think that just binging Netflix is a hobby, but also learn to essentially just make your mind blank from the work that you're doing every day. And this can also help a lot in terms of work satisfaction. So if you are someone who really puts a lot of your personal self into your work, and sometimes that's hard to separate, this can be really imperative for you to be able to get other things done that needs to be done in your life. Relationships. This is probably something we're noticing a lot more with us being apart. But if you don't invest in relationships, you aren't going to have people to rely on. You aren't going to have people to do things with. You're going to be lonesome, and that's going to cause a lot of other issues. And relationships, as we've all noted, especially now, don't have to necessarily be that you are going out somewhere in person with them. It can be just a little message every once in a while to come back to things, a phone call, just being there for someone and having someone there for you, especially in times of like great need or immediate need. It really does make a difference, especially in your self-value, having meaningful relationships. And soft skills. Soft skills are one of those things that are often underestimated. They never really test for them very well when it comes to interview time. But soft skills are what make you more valuable than someone else. Ultimately, people are hiring problem solvers. People don't necessarily make great requirements. They need someone with soft skills to actually turn what is thoughts into requirements and into product. So by having soft skills and being able to work with others, that makes you more valuable, even if you aren't necessarily the best coder. If you can direct people who are coders or better coders than you, that's going to make you just as valuable, if not more so. Oh my gosh, this so much. It smiles and it helped me. Because everyone needs help. No one can get through life alone. I mean, I guess if you're a hermit in the Alaskan wild, but even then, a lot of them apparently rely on other people, according to random history channel network stuff. But what do I mean by everyone needs help? Let's start with just getting help. You want to have mentors who work in your field. And by that, I mean, it doesn't have to be somebody I'm an Android programmer. I don't need a mentor necessarily who is strictly an Android programmer, but probably having someone who's, been in the industry a lot longer than I have, from either coding perspective or maybe a little bit higher than that, can kind of tell me things to look out for, especially when it just comes to writing on the wall of what's to come. Mentors who align with your goals. This is actually a really interesting one because, as you probably know, I am a recent mom, and it was really hard for me to find technical women that would be willing to be mentors that align with that goal of becoming a mother. And a lot of people told me not to do it. And it was really one of those conflicting things. But actually, by spending time with a number of highly successful women who are moms and did so, while remaining somewhat career focused, made that actually a lot more clear for me. And mentors who align with your personal life. This means not necessarily somebody who's technical, but just people that can mentor you in hobbies, in personal goals, just like what I said with being being a parent, or even just kind of moving forward in a particular area of interest, especially like even a mentor in a game that you really like. And this is one that some people might feel is a little bit controversial, but I think it has made the biggest difference for me. Paid career coaches or seminars along those lines. Some companies actually provide this for you, or if you're of a certain level. Spend money on figuring out what makes you good at your job, as well as where you need to be looking next, or if that plan even makes sense for you, or if that's where you want to go. A lot of people are living day to day. You really do need to have some perspectives. Pay people for the services you don't want to do. I know that this is something we're all starting to get a little bit more used to, especially with delivery apps and things like that. But I mean things like cleaning. I have a cleaning person who comes about once a month to take care of things and get that nitty gritty that, quite honestly, the robots don't get and I'm not willing to do. And things like around the house, little repairs, anything that basically makes it so that you lose the personal time that you want for yourself, and even grocery shopping. I haven't actually been grocery shopping outside of specialty stores for like the last 3 years. All of my basic groceries I get delivered, which has been really awesome and convenient. Everyone needs therapy. I bring this up because I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't have any kind of serious mental issues or things along those lines. No, you just need someone to listen to your crap that isn't a friend or loved one. They are not necessarily there to do that for you all the time. Okay? You need to talk to someone just about the nonsense that's rolling through your brain so that you get it out, but you don't drag other people down. And, you know, don't be a Debbie Downer. It really is something that can help you work through some things that you may have gotten, you know, pushed to the side. But it can just be, I just need to talk about the random crap that's rolling through my brain and have a third-party opinion. Now let's get known. If no one knows how good you aren't that good. Personal branding is all about your unique promise of value and what you bring to the table. It's also about getting your potential clients to choose you as the only solution to their problem. So personal brand is what's going to say, these are the things that I'm exceptional at, and these are the things I can help you solve, and ultimately bring it together where they see you as the only solution. And when you are their only solution, that's some money. That's some money, right? There's some money to be made there. So let's start on personal branding. You need to start by defining your brand. And this sounds really cheesy, but introspect on your perspective. And what I mean by that is that you need to take some time to think about what is unique about your perspective on the world compared to other people. And this is a little bit strange because technically speaking, no one's really truly unique, but you need to create something there to say, okay, these are my thoughts. These are the organized things I truly believe in. This is my perspective on these situations. Define your value beyond technical. Yes, we assume a certain level of technicality. Of course, you want to be able to demonstrate that publicly, but you also want to define what your value is beyond the technical. I also say, possibly it's a good idea, unless you feel very, very strongly on this, to not include political things as part of that, unless it's, kind of a thing of the moment and you feel very impassioned. But define your value beyond the technical. For me, what that is really caring about people, kind of the things that I make that are not necessarily purely technical, and actually some of the mentorships and values that I hold. You need to be an authentic person, but also best presentation. And by best presentation, I don't mean that you always look perfect. What I mean is that, hey, maybe when you're thinking of all these like streams of curse words you want to send to someone, that you shouldn't do it necessarily online in a public forum. Or tell me about when you pooped. It's just not something. Yes, we assume that everyone poops, but you don't need to be telling us everything about what's going on in your life. You really want to bring in either things that are meaningful or that you feel provide value, and also be authentic. People can really read when you are an Instagram model, and especially in the technical world, we don't really have that. So don't worry about it. Just try not to make any kind of like crazy statements. And by that, I will also say you need to highlight what makes you unique. So in my case, I am a very, very boisterous person in tech, and I put a lot of value in diversity and education, and those are things I like to highlight. Social media. What do you need to do? You need to have a public presence on Twitter, GitHub, and LinkedIn. Notice I didn't put that you need to have things on Instagram or other professional outlets. And by this, I mean a professional outlet. You need to have a professional Twitter somewhat, especially for your particular area, if nothing else, but because by having that account, you're going to get a lot of kind of the latest up-to-date information for your particular area. GitHub, of course, and LinkedIn. You want to keep it on brand. Actually, if you look at my accounts across all three of those things, I have the same slogan on all three, where I'm basically saying I am a builder of communities, and I care about diversity and inclusion, and I am the unofficial swag lady. Actually, if we were giving this talk in person, everyone would be covered in swag, and I am so sorry that that's not happening. I actually have over here, you can't really see it, a big box of stickers and pins and things to give away that I guess I won't be doing this year very much. So you really want to keep those messages on brand. Don't deviate too crazy much, of course. By that I mean don't go on a tirade of shit posting. Please don't do it. Just saying, just don't. And by that also, don't spam. If you are just retweeting everything that gets on a certain hashtag, unless it's something that has to do with you, please do not spam, because people will unfollow you because of that. And this last one's pretty interesting. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Last July, I was in Berlin, and we were hanging out late night with a random group of people from all over the world. We had someone from India, someone from Spain, someone from Ireland, a couple of Germans, a couple of folks actually from Southeast Asia, and of course, my husband and myself as the couple of Americans, basically various parts of Europe, Northern Africa, and the Eastern continent. All right. The Irishman comes in and says, "Do you have magnums in the United States?" And if you're anything like me, you went and started dying laughing, right? And actually, what was really interesting about this is that there was different reactions across the board, because Magnum has so many different meanings depending on where you're from. And so in some places, people were thinking of a weapon. In some places, people were thinking something a little bit more on the sexy time perspective. But in this case, this person was referring to an ice cream bar. Would you necessarily have figured that out? Remember that the internet is international. And so by that, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Make sure that what you're saying online doesn't have some weird double entendre in English elsewhere, or some different weird name. It's really easy to kind of look that stuff up unless it's kind of spur of the moment. Just, check yourself. Make sure that what you're saying is clear, slightly edited. Please don't do it drunk. Get a logo, an icon, something that's going to be distinctly you. Now, for me, I actually have something that's quite cartoonish. This was my first kind of icon. This is around the 2011 timeframe, 2010. No, something. Yeah, 2010. I want to say something along those lines. And then kind of little updated version over here. And kind of as proof, this is an HTC Evo 3D that I pulled out of a drawer fairly recently and turned it on, and it actually had my original logo in it. You can tell this is before like Androidify and various other art programs. But yeah, it makes things instantly identifiable. It's a small logo I can put on kind of anywhere, and no one else, even if they kind of look like me, necessarily is using this. This one might be shocking. You're an adult, okay? You're an adult. You're here. You're watching. So take a real headshot, all right? I am sick and tired of seeing 50 bajillion people in the background of your LinkedIn photo. If you are going to post headshots or pictures of yourself in a professional area, make sure that they look professional, right? And by that, I mean, you can just go in front of any wall you probably have in your house and actually just take a headshot. Use that. Stop cropping off like your friend's arm from your shoulder. You're an adult. You have a phone. This is not 1982 where you have to get it developed and then figure it all out. And here's one of mine. All right. So touch points. You want to have something that is emblematic of you. Think about what is something truly you. And I'll point out one lovely lady in our group, Chloe. Chloe, who will be coming up later. She's kind of known for a lot of very cutesy Microsoft branded things, especially Clippy, right? So that might be a cute touch point to actually integrate into other things that you do. Now, you want your touch points to be unique to you. And for me, that's kind of about making things and sharing them with other people. You can see various 3D printed things. I've made shoes and stickers and pins and earrings. And why do I keep making that my costume for Halloween? Keycaps, random things. And these touch points have brought me to meet and interact with so many people, as well as kind of this last one. These women actually were looking for me, and they're from Seoul, South Korea. Like, how would we have ever connected before this? So those touch points can actually provide ways of connection. And I will also say this, those stickers, women have actually connected with each other by having those stickers on their laptop and seeing each other at various events. One example being WWDC. And then they connected going, oh, how do you know Stacy? Or where did you get the sticker? I have one of those. And their whole conversation started off of that. These are two women who maybe would have never introduced themselves to each other, especially when it's intimidating, like those large conferences can be. So you can bring your values into real world by creating touch points around them. For me, it's inclusion. Again, I'm including people. I'm including them in what I want to present into the world. Publish everything. I can't say this enough. It's really important that you actually have something. This is crazy. When I find people who have applied for a job and I can't find anything about them online, I can't find a GitHub, I can't find anything on Twitter, they're virtually a ghost. It makes it really hard for me to effectively, talk to them, especially in an interview process, even just where to start beyond necessarily what they're presenting. It also makes it so that I have to be way, way more in depth in those interviews. So what should you publish? You should GitHub all your crap, even mistakes, even things that don't necessarily work, cite why they don't work. I want to see that you actually are, quite honestly, just trying new things. Somebody who tries new things and who's willing to share even their mistakes is not going to be, taking things personal when it comes to code review, and is going to be inquisitive about things so that they're always improving. If you don't have example code, I will ask for it. And nobody loves doing coding exams. If you have a lot of good code that you are thinking, okay, this actually is pretty decent, post it. Because if you post that and I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty decent, I may not even ask for an example. And a good place to start is just from your own problems. Are you having an issue with XYZ and you want to make an app to tackle XYZ? Why don't you just start there? Because the problems that you have are the same that other people have. In fact, actually, this weekend, I'm planning on doing a project for tablets to make it a little bit more baby-friendly. And I guarantee you it's not going to make it onto the App Store because I guarantee you they will reject it. But it's a problem I'm having where he wants to play a game and he kept accidentally hitting the navigation and it takes him out of his game and he doesn't like it. So I have to solve that somehow. So that'll be an example I post up probably, Monday or something like that. And it's really evidence about that you care about what you do, that you are a craftsman. You aren't just in there for your 9 to 5. You are only as strong as your network, so be part of the community. Just participating today, you are already making huge strides. You are already joining a community. You are already meeting people. So you want to build that network. That network, quite honestly, has gotten me jobs. It is the reason why I am here today. So you need to get out there. Go to a conference or a few. I know a lot of these are being held online right now, but, especially once this kind of blows over and, this kind of, you see the rates go down, go to conferences. You're already starting out in a good place here. Extra learning. Join your local GDG. Meetups and events like GDG Durham. Great place to learn. Contribute to open source or Stack Overflow. So these are great ways to actually just start putting things out there into a community that shows that you actually care about other people besides just yourself. I know that we all love Stack Overflow. I don't know if I go a day without hitting Stack Overflow for something. So maybe you should contribute something every once in a while, or just look to see if there's something that you can do to make a difference, especially since we're all stuck at home. This might be a good use of screen time. Join a technical Slack or Discord for your area. This is huge because there are things you are not going to know how to do and you can't find information online. This is a professional network. This is a professional network you can tap into at any time, and they can tap into you at any time. It's instant help. It's instant help. Who doesn't want that? Just join a technical Slack. It's also going to keep you up to date on what the latest comings and goings are in your particular area. Final section, getting paid. We got to get that cash money. All right. This is a big one. You got to spend money to make money. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but you need to get better at your job by knowing what you actually bring to the table. Are the values that you bring the things that they value? You need to think and get some introspection on this. DISC is kind of a way to find your leadership style and how you work with others and how to identify other people's communication styles. I am a DI. That means I am decisive and inspirational, which means that I am one of those people that likes to be quite plain spoken with things, but I also have a perchance to get people to follow me and and bring people together on projects. That also means that I'm quite loud, and there's a very real chance that I could completely over talk someone who's trying to get something through. So I actually have to take a moment, look around the room, and see if there's something I can bring out of someone else. Get an executive or a career coach. It might just be a mentor if you're really early in your career, but I would say this is invaluable, especially if you're 3 or 4 years in or more. You need someone to provide consistent assessment of your skills and situation. Are you actually in a good place with your boss? Do you have a positive relationship beyond your boss? What are things that you can do to improve that? What are things that you need to kind of realign on in terms of value that you're providing? Because sometimes it's really hard to see that there's the things you want to do are not necessarily the things that they value at the moment. And how do you get yourself to do the things you don't want to do, but they really value? It's really hard to take that without getting third-party perspective. Negotiation. A lot of people fail at this hard. But why do we need to negotiate? You need to take time so that you don't bargain yourself down before you get to the table. Don't say, I'm not worth X. Oh, I can't believe X person got X amount of money. Girl, boy, that could be your money. Why wouldn't you want to take that money? Do not bargain yourself down. Do not say, oh, I don't think I'm really worth that. Or, oh, that's so much money. Like, oh, I shouldn't necessarily ask for more. I mean, this is already so much. That is a bold-faced lie. Think about how much they've actually invested just to put an offer on the table. So do not bargain yourself down before you even start. And to be an effective negotiator, you need to take this into account. A negotiator should observe everything. You must be part Sherlock Holmes, part Sigmund Freud. That means that you need to know, basically, why do they need you? And you need to think about, how do I capitalize on that? How do I actually turn that into things that make it better for my hand that I'm bringing to the table to that negotiation? And you have to know when you've pushed too far or when you're not pushing hard enough. Because you can always they can always offer less. But you also don't want to ask for 50% more. If you're completely outside of each other's ranges, that just happens. But you generally have to think about how much they've already invested into you by that point. The art of negotiation. You need to prepare. Find your market value, why you are a premium and needed. I'll be honest. I do a thing in Android that a lot of people don't necessarily do, and that is very heavy, like mid-layer to UI work. A lot of people want to only focus on kind of back-end or data layer stuff, and I find a lot of value and joy in kind of the middle layer and above. I can absolutely do the deep architecture stuff. I've done it in the past. I find joy in that too, but this is a unique area in the market that a lot of people don't necessarily take the time to look and be a little bit of a pixel pusher at times. So I needed to find a good place for me that was going to kind of value that additional set of skills that I bring as far as like fancy animations and attention to detail and being able to get people around a project. And finding your market value really isn't that hard. There are a number of good sites and resources to go to. Robert Half report is a really good one. Also remember that there are career sites with that post jobs, and they might say, oh, people are making X amount. Generally, people that are posting their salary on those are people who are not happy with what they're making, so they tend to trend a little low and are not necessarily indicative of the true numbers. The Robert Half report does not come from those self-reported numbers. Those actually come from those numbers actually come from corporations. So you have a more true assessment of what your market value is. And there are some other resources as well, but that's one that everyone should be able to get access to. I also bring this one up with negotiation program or a coach. I had a negotiation coach, and I also did a negotiation program for prior to the job that I'm currently in. And I will tell you this. I got more than 30% more over their initial offer. That's a lot of money. That's a big difference. Having a negotiation coach made that difference because I was like going, oh, this is a very fair offer. How much further could I push them? How much further could I push them? I don't know if I would have necessarily have had the confidence in order to push that far. And a lot of negotiation programs and coaches are more expensive, but negotiation programs will typically start at around $500 and be completely worth it. A lot of them come with guarantees as well. And negotiation coaches are typically not that crazy expensive until you start talking about director level or above. So think about that. Get that money. Somebody who helps you get it. This is the last thing I leave you with. Now that you know this information, now that you've gotten happy, you've built a brand, and you know what you're worth, do you stay or do you leave? It's really, really, really hard to get a substantial jump if you've actually been way underpaid. It's also really hard to overlook that and stay at a place, even if you really love the work you're doing and your coworkers, because you feel violated. but it can also be an opportunity for growth. So I put this up to you. Stay or leave. And with that, I'd like to give you some awesome resources on negotiation coaches, various mental health services, understanding burnout, starting out with a personality test. I also highly recommend Negotiate Her by Developer as far as negotiation course. That's what I did. Also, it's been recognized by the UN and a bunch of other things. Very award-winning thing there. So you're definitely not losing out as far as value goes. And here's my information. And with that, I think we're good.
Wow. Wow. Stacy, I feel so moved and inspired. Wow. Thank you so much. It's like you have that power of bringing the best out of me and out of everybody. I will never get tired of saying how grateful I am to have the privilege of being your friend or even knowing you. You have done so much for so many. You keep inspiring us. We were sharing, privately and also in the YouTube chat. Well, there's lots of praise for you. Marian, so Shimeng Feng has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, wait. Chloe said, I'm literally saying yes and amen. Well, Stacy says these things could not agree more, and it's the same with me. But there's a question. Shimeng Feng is asking us regarding the mentor topic. I just joined the company, and due to the pandemic situation, we're all working from home. If that is the case, do you have suggestions on how to find a mentor in the field?
So I would say actually a great place to start is with your local meetup organizers like yourself to actually even connect with a mentor in your particular area, or even like, Diana, that there are a ton of amazing Slacks and Discord servers to even just start hooking people into. And that, I know I mentor a lot of folks. I know you mentor people as well. And then they move on to other folks or just provide connection. That's really what community is going to help you actually do. So I would say it's a really good idea to reach out to me. Probably reach out to Diana here if she's willing. And we can actually just start from there.
Excellent. Well, you have her Twitter account in there. Follow her. Mine, I didn't even. Oh, yeah. You can see my Twitter account. I always get it the wrong way. There's my Twitter account. And definitely, everything we've been getting on our YouTube feed has been praise, and thank you, Stacy. People are in awe and very happy about, everything you said. I really appreciate you being here, and thank you. I will never stop being grateful. Just to remind everyone, we have a raffle, and I'm going to present it with my friend Stacy while she's in here. This is our GDG website. It's gdgdurham.org. You can follow us at GDG Durham on Twitter. And for the raffle, we'll be doing it at the end of the event. We're going to raffle a $100 Amazon gift card, two $50 Google Play gift cards, and a Spotify pass. So make sure you fill this form. It will help us get better. It's bit.ly/IWD Durham. And thank you, Stacy. Thank you for everything. So we have our next speaker. Our next speaker had some technical difficulties, but We have another speaker who is someone who I truly admire. She had some circumstances that prevented her from being live in the event, and I'm going to share a pre-recorded talk. Her name is Karolina Ladino, and she is from Bogota, Colombia. I appreciate that you're mindful that this is her first talk in English, and despite some health situations she's going through, she still wanted to share her message with us. She's going to talk about diversity and inclusion, and well, she's also someone who I admire a lot. This is her Twitter account. I will post a link to her slides later on, and I will leave you with Carol.
Hi everyone, I'm Karolina Ladino, and thanks to Diana, my dear Diana Rodriguez, who invited me to be part of this meeting and this meetup, the first part of the GDG, the Google Developers Groups of Durham. This is a really pleasure for me. I'm so sorry because I can be here on live with you, but I prefer to record myself, but cancel. I'm talking with you I will talk about diversity and inclusion and why we need it. I will share with you my screen. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, sure. I hope you can see it. Well, this is my this is my handle, that Carol.co, CEO. And well, let's start. Why we needed diversity and inclusion in all of the stuff around tech. Well, I want to start with a question because I don't know, but I have a feeling that maybe everyone are feeling or have feeling before uncomfortable by a comment or an action coming from another part of the team, or maybe from your boss or something like that. And that is the reason why we need inclusion and diversity, and why we need to create a really strong basis of fundamentals in respect and I don't know how to say it, but like something like respect the creation, or respect the exist of the other person. Why? Come on. Everyone has to feel something like that before. Well, after that, and after confirming with you that we need really to stop that feelings and that situations, I want to create a definition of diversity. So diversity means difference, and why we need difference, because the difference helps us and all the people to see different perspectives from a situation or a problem. So could be again categorized in three different or big topics, like demographic with age, race, gender identity, sexual orientation, and physical resources. Could be also experiential, that could be education, occupations, faith, abilities, dependence, caring responsibilities, and also cognitive, how we approach to problems, and also how we think about things. And well, this is the diversity, and if you can see all the categories, and you can confirm that you have friends or you have people who is different and share different things and different categories on this from his or her diversity or their diversity. So I think it's obvious, but in this moment of our life, and also in this kind of new reality by quarantine, we can confirm this is a problem because we keep closing these doors and these opportunities in, in work or communities or study to the people who is underrepresented. So we need to work around that. And I am a leader of a leader group of women in Colombia who is working to improve her skills, their skills, and also to improve the presence and the numbers of women in the technical industry in Colombia. And well, I'm talking about also about inclusion. So what is inclusion means? What is the act of making someone feel part of a group, and that is when you feel comfortable. And well, I found a guide, a really good PDF where well, I also share that with you in the last slide, where you can see these four topics could be improved and could be get better with the inclusion part when we work on that. Like everybody business practices, or the practice could be better, the company performance could be improved, the business objective could be clear, and the employee engagement could be better because we know, and this is a really another reality that the people in different companies are in a really battle for the best talent. Okay, so in this moment, the people can stay more than 6 months in a company, and that is not the idea. That now I think in a personal way, the people who spend more time in a company uh, need, has a need who what is like a uh, guarantees or have guarantees to grow inside the company, and not just in money or in revenue, uh, but in opportunities, challenge, and other things that are around work or responsibilities in a company. And what, in my personal opinions, say or we need like an employee or like a boss also a safe workplace, a motivational path to work happy, and safe communications and confidence, uh, to have the opportunity to help the people who is working with us, and also to, I don't know, give to others the things who others give or gave to us, like payment on forward that is happening now in communities, like tech communities, where the people is working around open source projects, around little projects to improve their skills, and that is changing the world in a really good way because we are creating safe spaces where the people could feel comfortable and safe, and that is the idea where you can share a throw in a really good way and feel free that anyone will be love of you or something like that. And if you are telling a really um, nonsense thing, another one could help you to find a way to figure it out how to work and how to finish that issue in GitHub or something like that. So I think we need to execute more because when I planning this talk, I can see many people is working or many people is documenting this, but a few people is working on that, and well, the communities and are doing a really good job, and we need the help of companies and another organizations that could increase the impact of what we are doing. So you can start in you can see this graph where you can start in any of these circles, but normally you start in a study, formal or informal way. And after that, you start to go to meetups or connect to different meetups now in communities to help you to increase that skill. But the communities are working really hard to connect with companies that have really nice job offers where you can find the inclusions, the foul things. And when you are in a really good work, you can grow. And when you grow, you can help others to study and get better in a professional way. So you are working again to close the circle, to close the cycle, because that's the way the life works. Someone helps you, but maybe you can pay to that person, but after you can give to another person a really good opportunity or a really good help, and that person will be doing that, and that's like a chain, a really big chain with a really good support. And well, that is the idea, and I think that is the reason why I done cancel today and send this to Diana and create a new way in this new reality to be here with you. So I share with you, I am trying to share these resources where you can see in Latin America, America, United States, Europe, and another country, another places in the world where you can see what the people are doing and what kind of companies are doing a really good job to increase and getting better this situation. But in this moment, I want to share with you my, I don't know, my worries, because this is not getting better. We have to work more for these people, because in the quarantine the things is getting harder, and we need to open more opportunities like this to share. I don't know, maybe not just works opportunities or jobs opportunities, maybe mentories or groups studies, or just one-on-one to share how are you feeling and how you can tackle the anxiety about finding or searching a new job in this moment. So it's the moment to think in people, on people. It's the moment to share, to change our mind and open to others, to give more opportunities, I think. And thanks again, and I hope if you can tell me if you like this information and if you find it helpful, and I also available to answer you the questions. And if you need something from me, you can just chat with me. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. See you in another moment.
Wow. Bless her consort. Karolina Ladino is one of the most inspirational people I've had the chance to interact with, and she is also my IoT mentor. Just to mention, she has a robotics engineering degree, and she is currently pursuing a master's in big data. We love you, and we support you through, good and bad. And thank you so much for your presentation. Our next speaker is someone who I also admire. Her name is Marian. Oh, Marian, I always call her the wrong name. And let's bring you up to the stage. Hello! We can't hear you. I will unmute you. Oh, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, Diane. Sorry.
Hello, this is Marian Villa. The other way around. She is one of the most amazing women I've had the pleasure to meet. She's also from Colombia, and she leads a ton of organizations and amazing initiatives. So I guess it's much better if I let you introduce yourself. But before that, Wanted to remind you about our raffle. Check the link down here. Fill out the form. You are participating for a $100 Amazon gift card and two $50 Google Play cards and a Spotify pass. Please make sure you fill out the form. We want winners, and we might have an extra secret, another gift at the end of the event. Marian, the stage is all yours. Oh.
Okay, thank you, Kiana. Hello again. I'm going to share my screen before to solve, so just give me 1 second. Okay, here you can see it, right? Okay, present. I have problems. Oh my God. Just give me 1 second. I don't know what to do because the presentation. I'm going to. Okay. Let's do it this way. No. So refresh the tab. So just give me 1 second. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, but it's better if. Okay. Yeah, I have it. Yay. But it was. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi. My talk today is going to be about how to create your personal experience. But first, I like to talk to present myself. So I'm Marian Villa. I'm from Colombia. I'm very nervous because when you are Latina, you are trying to speak very fluent in other language that is English, and it's very challenging for us. So I try to do it the best, to do the best way, to try to explain myself and try to have the best pronunciation that I can have. So first, I am designer and consultant. I also have the opportunity to be as a Google Launchpad mentor in the program of Google Developer Experts in UI UX. And other thing about me is I hate transitions, and I don't know why this put all the animation in my presentation. So I don't know if it's best. I don't know, trying to explain in this way. So I love to share and connect with all the communities. And one of the things that make me proud of what we are doing here in Latin America and specifically in Colombia is we have a lot of really successful stories about people who don't have the resource to go to university or who have a technical background from studies. They learn through communities, through local meetups, and we have a really strong community here in Colombia. One of these communities is Pioneras Dev. Pioneras Dev is a small, begins as a small project, but right now is the biggest community for women in tech in Colombia. And I am grateful to be part of this dream because it's not only my work, I co-founded, and right now I'm the director, but Pioneras is what it is right now because for all the efforts that a lot of women are putting in this community. So thank you to all of these amazing women that I know are connecting with us here. And thanks, Diana, for sharing with me this opportunity to trying to bring this bridge for me that is trying to explain something that I'm really passionate about it in English. So thank you. I'm going to talk in other life. I was studying science, specifically biology, because I love animals. and also I love plants. But in the meantime, I figured out that I don't want to spend a lot of time of my life on a lab, because I was very committed to genetics. So it happens that I was changing my career in the university, and I changed to design and to graphic design. And in graphic design, I fall in love with interface. And at this time, people in my family and my friends was like, "Wow, you're going to be a scientist. Why you're right now studying design?" So I was trying to explain them that I love research. I love to trying to figure out things. I love to have answers. Questions, not too many answers. So I, at the time, I don't have the right career path. I don't have a mentor that was Tracy saying, and sadly, I make my path through experimentation. So that's my path to become UX designer. And UX designer, I think it was like an accident for me, but it was to trying to understand all the knowledge that I was learning through my personal path. And I understand that I find my sweet spot because it's a multidisciplinary field that involve business, involve UI, user interface, involve technology, involve innovation, involve psychology, and also communication. I have two majors. One is graphic design, and the other is communication. So I happily find the intersection of all the things that I love. And I don't. At the time, I was not sure that it was the perfect like field or the perfect choice for me. But right now, I'm really in love with my career, and I found like I can apply design in all the phases of the user. And I was sharing with you like a personal research that was like, if I am designer, why I can design my life? So I trying to find the right choices, and how to figure to apply the user interface and the user experience to my personal user. So architect and social science was other that disciplines that I trying to apply to UX. So design your life. What is this? So I found a really cool book and TED Talk and a lot of stuff about designing your life to this author. Uh, I really recommend this website and his book. And designing your life becomes like a real obsession to me, because I like to try to understand patterns and try to figure out how to wrap everything and understand how to apply this experience to my personal user. So everything is designed, whether we make time for it or not. So why not our lives? This is Calamity GD, user in Twitter, and he has a really cool blog post about designing your life. So I recommend to follow him. And today's agenda is try to figure out how to measure your lives in weeks, a current state audit for your past. The other topic will be Eisenhower chart, a usability assessment for your present and your priorities. The other will be affinity mapping, a quality method for identifying and later retrospecting on your success metrics, your KPIs, your personal KPIs. And finally, prototyping live, because you got to try it before you leave it. So first begin with the user-centered design process. And design is focused on user research and on an interactive user-centered approach to creating solutions. So why if we apply the user-centered design process to ourselves, our lives, and our careers? So the user-centered process start with research. So we need to do the work, the homework, and try to figure out what happened with us. The other thing is design, and the third phase will be testing, and the final will be repeat. So it's a cycle. So we need to do it right. So in UX terms, we stop doing user research, we stop iterating, and we stop mirroring our own needs. And our lives and careers come less usable and enjoyable as a result of these negligence, because we apply design in a lot of stuffs but not in our life. So all you need is the willingness to ask yourself difficult questions and risk chance. I love the eternal curiosity, and I don't know if it call it like a quote, like is the eternal apprentice. So we are always in an eternal cycle of doing this: research, design, testing, and repeat. And it happens with a lot of stuffs, but we don't take the time to make to ask the right questions and the hard and difficult ones. So when you start to think in your life, you need to think in content auditing your past. Entonces, how you do this? Sorry for the Spanish at the time. Content audit your past begins when you put all your life in this framework, and this framework shows you it's like a GitHub, like a GitHub. When you measure the commitments that you are doing. So here you can evaluate what will be the difficult days that you are having, what will be the main successful goals that you reach, and you can find like different colors to be sure how to understand what will be the path or your career and your life in a framework, in a single page. So this will be that one of the hardest questions that you need to do it to yourself. So what were the big events in your life? How have you spent your time so far? What events can you forecast? How do you want to spend your time left? In a minute, I can tweet the URL to download the framework, and you can do the exercise to try to understand this timeline and project your life, trying to figure out what will be the patterns in your life, and how you can with this research understand the decisions that you are made. So with this with this chart, you will be able to take informed decisions to the next phase, because you will understand how to start right now. So this audit is an analog for quantitative users and usability research techniques, such as website analytics, conversion rates. But when that you have here is a snapshot or your user unique life and career, yours. So another question that you will find answer in 18, 21, 14. When did your career begin? When and where were your favorite trips? When and where did you move? When were your major career change or professional events? What about relationships, weddings, or breakups? When were your kids born, if you have one? And don't forget major personal events like health issues, trauma, success, or other impactful life change. For example, in this framework that you are seeing in the screen, the black dots in this framework will be like this major personal events that was like traumas or issues, health issues that you need to figure out. So you have here day by day, week by week, all your life, trying to project them from your 90s or 100 years if you are projecting your life long. Uh, the second phase will be like when you have this framework, you already have the right patterns of your life. So you need to try to understand the present, and the present. This will be the past, and the present. We are trying to figure out with an Eisenhower chart. The Eisenhower chart is this kind of chart when you figure out what's important to you. So you put in this um, fourth what I don't know how to say this in English, quadrantes, charts. So you put it like do it, decide, delegate, and delete, and you do like a design thinking process when you use post-its, and you can do it in a board and try to figure out what will be important, not urgent in your life. And when you do this, probably you ask yourself, but what is important to you? So important and urgent will be deadlines, health crisis, taxes, rent. What will be important but not urgent? So something you are passionate about, but doesn't have a deadline, a long-term project, telling your loved ones that you love them, family time, planning, self-care. What's urgent but not important? Phone calls, text and slacks, most emails, unscheduled favors. Neither important or urgent will be TV, social media, video games, and you can prioritize them and do it once, do it often, trying to figure out what will be the most important things for you, what will be the urgent and not urgent, and will be not important. So when you identify what is important to you, what will be your priorities, you can have align your life with your goals, because the things that are important to each of us not necessarily are urgent. So you need you need to what you are supposed to do with priorities. So priorities them. So this is of a book that the name of the book is Get Shit Done. So the key is not to prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. That's a quote from that book. So identifying what your priorities are is critical to getting them into your schedule. So you need to have it clear for you, because the next step is trying to find the right spaces in your schedule and try to make an agenda with your important blocks before you're doing this. Sorry, after you are doing this, applying this framework from Eisenhower. So when you have this, probably you have to try to think what will be the KPIs, the key performance indicators, for these important things that you are prioritize them. So that will be trying to apply another method that the name methodology that the name is affinity mapping. So trying to create success metrics for the future. So with this methodology, you're trying to use also post-its and try to put it in a black canvas. And here you can. The idea of these affinity maps is trying to find patterns in qualitative data. So users often use them. We often use them to make sense of user interviews or survey data to find patterns that inform person of user requirements and to test out that most elusive gap. In regards to design your life, this affinity map is a powerful technique for individuals, partners, and teams when you are trying to work with your partner in life or your loved ones, could be your child, your kid, and I don't know. So your important person. So you're trying to define what they want and need out of their lives to synthesize that information into actionable and measurable requirements, and to create a vision of what their life might look like in the future. So here you're trying to project what you like in the future. So you don't need a template to get started and affinity any on it on post-its. Write down your activities you to prioritize on post-its. Categorize the insights under I statements to keep the analysis for the user your point of view. So I'm going to, or I dream about that suggest note readings is like I want to spend more time with my kids.
We had a bit of a technical difficulty with Marian, but her insights have been amazing, and we have someone very special to us, very dear, and I'm sure you know who we're talking about. Our next speaker. Oh, see that cat behind me? That's Mara. I have the pleasure to introduce an amazing person, someone who is very, very, very loved and regarded in this ecosystem. Also a good friend of the community. She's a developer advocate at Microsoft and the person who has promoted Clippy like no one else has.
That is true. I'm not wearing my Clippy earrings today, but was wearing them yesterday.
All right, those were some special earrings made by Stacy, right?
Yes, yeah. Actually, you know, I was just clapping, and as you showed the comment before, saying yes through all of Stacy's talk, and I could not agree with you more as far as taking Stacy's recommendations. I've taken her recommendations for keyboards. I've taken her recommendations for maker things I've gotten, earrings, everything. That lady, I'm gonna rewatch her talk whenever I need a pep talk. True story.
I know, that's what we do, right? Well, you can see my cat is very happy also to hear your voice.
Ooh, I love cameos. That's the one thing I like about working from home is all the cameos from pets and kids and siblings and husbands and wives that I get to see now.
Oh my goodness. Before introducing, Chloe Condon, an amazing person and her amazing talk, I'm going to remind you, go to this link, bit.ly/IWD Durham, and you can earn happiness. Like, we'll be ruffling awesome prices. I will just let you take over our virtual stage. And thank you, Marian. We know you had some technical difficulties. We love you. We really appreciate the effort of these two amazing ladies from Colombia who are beacons in their community. And we're a big fan.
Yes, the biggest fans.
Definitely. So, Chloe, the stage is yours.
All right. I have a very short and sweet talk, but one that I like to give a lot. So this talk unintentionally became Friends themed. So I hope we have some Friends fans in the audience here. Let's see. Are my slides popping up here? I see myself. Okay. Well, in the meantime, I'll banter a little bit. How's everybody doing out in the community? Hi, people in the chat. Ooh, definitely send things in the chat. I will try to answer them as we go along.
Definitely.
Do I need to reshare my screen again, maybe?
Yes, can you reshare your I'm going to oh, excellent. So you can react that. We've got a visitor She loves people. She's very chubby
Yes.
today. So while Chloe shares her screen, Alejandra from Colombia as well says, Chloe, how exciting to see your talk. Regina says, hi everyone. Hello everybody. Chloe is definitely someone to be excited for. All of these ladies are amazing. So yeah.
Ooh, I think I figured it out. All right, let's see.
In the meantime, I wanted to introduce you to Mara, the cuddliest cat ever. And while we saw our difficulties here, I wanted to remind you to fill out this survey. It's a form, it's a short survey. It will help us improve our event. It will basically help us. Oh, she's kissy. It will help us improve and deliver the content you need. I'm going to take over the screen. It will help us definitely get more insight on what can we offer to improve our community.
No, maybe not. Okay, you know what? I can just get creative here. I'm going to. Oh, did we lose Diana?
No.
Okay.
I'm here.
I'm like, good.
Oh,
you're the most important part.
We got it.
Oh, you do have it?
Yeah, we have it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I go on full screen.
Like that?
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba. Amazing. Okay, well, I am ready to go then. All right, y'all. Thank you for dealing with technical difficulties. Believe it or not, this is maybe my 5th or 6th stream of a different talk today. So I'm coming off all of the excitement for Microsoft Build, but this is a non-technical talk, and I'm super excited to give this talk. And it is called Building Your Career Remotely by me, Chloe Condon, Cloud Advocate at Microsoft. Let's see. I'm going to go to my other thing here. All right, so let's talk about networking for a second. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to give you a little background on who the heck I am and why I'm here. So my name is Chloe Condon. As the slide says, I am a cloud advocate at Microsoft. And what that means is a lot of my job is working with developer communities. So specifically working with different communities to help educate them on different technologies at Microsoft. I specifically work on the academic team, so I get to teach all these amazing students who are way, way smarter than I am how to use different Azure services. And also I get to give lovely talks like this to different communities. And I want to congratulate you all because step one, you're here in this online event, so you're already networking, you're already ahead of the game. But let's dive right into it. Okay, networking. I don't know about you, but when I hear the word networking, I am very put off, I guess is the right word. Networking is a word that makes me feel very, very nervous. It kind of brings up these ideas of going to an event that, you know, back when we could leave our houses with maybe a drink and standing awkwardly in the corner and being like, oh gosh, I hope this isn't a weird event. But what's really cool is that you can actually network remotely. And that's what we're going to talk about in this talk today. But as I was saying, networking, not a word that I like very much, but it can help you do a lot of really important things that are important for you to build your career with. So I've got a couple listed here. Networking can connect you to jobs. Personally, I have gotten many jobs in technology by being referred through my network or different friends that I have. It can help you find like-minded people. So Stacy was talking about earlier how she was super interested in the maker community and doing all her sticker stuff. So you can find people with similar interests by networking. It can introduce you to new communities. So the makerspace is a great example for me. I am relatively on the newer side to tech within the last 5 years, and I had no idea what being a maker even meant. And I have gotten heavily involved in that community by networking and meeting amazing people like Stacy and my friend Charlene. It can also help you find mentorship and career advice, which Stacy talked about as well. So if you're looking, if maybe you find someone in the community that you're like, I want to do what they do, you can find that through networking. It can be a support system. We're all here in this event. It's a Women in Tech event. What better way to find people who think and act and have the same kind of questions and concerns that you do than being part of a Women in Tech group. So congratulations, you've already taken a step in this. And it can also introduce you to new opportunities. One of the most amazing things about networking that I think is super, super underrated is oftentimes a lot of job postings or opportunities won't be posted publicly on job search sites. So a lot of times you can hear about particular jobs or maybe even job postings that haven't been opened up on Teams through your network. But instead of thinking about it with the word networking, and you may have caught onto this by seeing the GIF that we have here, but let's think about it more like friend making. So no one told you like, okay, we can't pay for the rights for the song, so I'm not going to sing all of it, but I'm going to go because now it has turned into a friends themed talk. So all of these things, I want you to think of them not like networking, but like friend making, because that really is what networking is. It's making friends in the community with similar likes, interests, concerns, and finding that community and using that community to your benefit and how whatever best way suits you. If it's finding jobs, if it's just finding common ground, a networking can do that for you. And believe it or not, you can do that remotely, which is what we are going to talk about today. All right, so number one, my number one tip here is to be authentic and professional. Your online presence should represent you. So as I mentioned, I was just clapping along and on mute, but saying yes through all of Stacy's talks. I couldn't agree more. I strongly believe that your online profile and presence is kind of your digital business card. So like, what do you do when you want to find out about someone on the internet, be it an interview or a first date for that matter? You Google them, right? Or you Bing them, or Microsoft, you Bing them. So having a website, like a personal website, having a Twitter, having a LinkedIn are really great ways to make sure that the information about you on the internet is accurate and showcases who you are in a good light. So there's a couple things that I want to touch on here as far as being authentic and professional is concerned. My hot tips and tricks here are going to be make sure that your image of yourself, just like Stacy said, is a picture that represents you, not a baby, not a dog, not a meme, not a cartoon of a dog, but of you. So be that an avatar of yourself, be that a great headshot that maybe you take of yourself, or maybe whoever you're sheltering in place right now can take for you. You want it to represent who you are. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've been to events. I go to a lot of conferences for my job where someone will come up to me and say, "Hi, Chloe, my name is so-and-so. We've interacted a bunch on Twitter. Don't you recognize me?" And then later I go up and look at their Twitter handle and their profile picture is like a cartoon piece of bread or something. So there's no kind of correlation for myself in my brain. So I think having a good photo that represents you is really good, especially if you're job searching, because people usually want to put a face to a name, especially on LinkedIn. Make sure that your details are up to date. Share a picture of yourself. Make sure all your jobs are up to date. But I have a couple different examples here that I wanted to share. So I share this one all the time. This is actually a website that I helped my friend Kimberly a little bit with. And this is what I love about it. First of all, her name stands out. It's got her name, and the first sentence she has on there is, "Hi. Hi there. I'm a full stack software engineer." Boom. I already know who this person is, what she does. You can check out Kimberly's website at the URL there. It's kimberly.dev. But what I really love about this website, it very much humanizes who Kimberly is. I'm not just seeing a black and white resume in Times New Roman. I really get a sense of who her personality is, what she is, and what she does from this website. So just like Stacy mentioned in her earlier talk, It's important to have hobbies. I know that we all love tech. We eat, sleep, breathe tech. Maybe some of our hobbies are technical as well. But as someone who works in this industry, I really like to know that you are not a robot and you're a real person. So you can see there's a little carousel on the bottom here that you can kind of sort through, where Kimberly features some really cool projects she's done. She's got a picture of herself with the little ukulele thing. So I know that this person is a human, not a robot. They definitely will bring some fun culture to my team. And of course, she's links to her resume and her portfolio and her blog here as well. So really think of these landing pages. And if you don't want to invest in, maybe a Squarespace site, or maybe you just don't want to do a lot of maintenance with a website, GitHub pages are free. Those are really, you get a free GitHub page with every repo that you make. I've seen a lot of people make really fantastic websites through GitHub pages. So definitely check that out as a good resource. Next up here, I went ahead too fast. Friendship takes effort. So you have to consume and contribute content to be a good friend or to be a good networker. I say this because it's one thing to be an observer and to see a lot of cool stuff on Twitter and like it and everything like that. Liking is always great. Always recommend liking something if you like it, or retweeting it. But get involved in the conversation online. So this means comment on things, reach out to people that you find particularly interesting. You really have to not only consume the content, but contribute to the content. Let's say you're making something really cool, make a blog post about it, put it out there in the world. But having these relationships online is really a give and take. So instead of being a spectator, try to get involved in the conversation, try to get involved in your network. It really does take some time. So this is an example that I love sharing. So that all has to do with being active and involved and finding your network online. So this is way before all of the shelter in place was happening. I think the date on here, yes, March 21st, 2019, so almost a year ago. I posted this tweet, and keep in mind, I'm very active on Twitter. And I said, in my opinion, your chosen Mario Kart player says way more than your zodiac sign does. If they choose Toad, you're like, okay, you're an introvert. And if they choose Bowser, you're like, okay, who hurt you? So obviously this was kind of a joke. I posted this while I was playing Mario Kart with my boyfriend, but a really fun thing happened after I posted this tweet. And that happened in the comment section. So people started to comment, oh, what is this particular, here? Oops, I don't have any pictures of this, but if we go look at the tweet, people started commenting, oh, what does Peach Cat say about me? Or what does Bean Drybone say about me? And I was kind of jokingly responding saying, oh, that means that you don't take any crap from anyone. And it was just kind of became this lighthearted thing. But then someone on Twitter, who I did not know, a stranger, did this and made a Google Doc of all of the responses that I was giving, which is really funny because we went through all of the different characters in Mario Kart. And then from there, speaking of GitHub pages, he made a GitHub page, just a really simple kind of landing page thing that used a really cool library called nes.css. That's where he got all of the different fonts and different images and stuff, and used a wiki to get all the images. So I thought this was so cool, so funny, and such a wonderful moment on the internet where all these people contributed and came together. But what was really cool is beyond that, it inspired me to make my own project. So I ended up using this open sourced project on GitHub pages and made my own Mario Kart astrology using the Azure Microsoft Face API. You can check that out at the blog that I made. But this is one of those moments where the community really comes together and kind of creates a cool little project together. And keep in mind, I have never met Steven, the person who made this. We just connected on the internet, and you can really make long-lasting friendships and connections and collaborations on the internet without ever meeting the person IRL. I have met a lot of my internet friends in real life. Make sure it's always safe. I always do it at a conference in a public space. The internet stranger danger is real. But I think that this is just such a fun example of people coming together on the internet and making a really fun project. Okay, this is such an important one and a lesson that took me a lot of time to learn, which is don't invest time in bad friendships, don't feed the trolls, and don't be a troll. And what does that mean? To be a troll on the internet means, you're always kind of stirring the pot, having arguments on there, doing hot takes. Personally, I'm a woman on the internet with several thousands of followers. I get this a lot. I've learned not to engage because that's what these people want. But really make sure that you remember that your online presence, it's on the internet forever. You can always delete a tweet, but there are screenshots, and we all know how that works. People send screenshots around to each other, even in DMs. Be kind to everyone on the internet, because first of all, what are the reasons you have not to? We should all be nice to each other. And also, anything that you say or do on the internet will be used against you in the court of law. And that is to say, people will have the receipts, people have the screenshots. Be kind and just don't engage. If people are being yucky, of course, it's always important to make sure that if you see someone being bullied online, that you either help report that, but don't feel ever the need to engage with people who are just being toxic. There's a lot of trolls out there on the internet. I certainly deal with at least 1 or 2 a day. Pay them no mind. That's what they want. So don't feed the trolls and don't be a troll. That's rule number 1, really. All right. Okay, where do you find friends? On Netflix. I'm just kidding. That was a really bad dad joke. Friends are everywhere. Truthfully, there's so many places that you can find your network. Personally, I have found them on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, in Slack groups, in Animal Crossing. You really, truly can find friends anywhere. And here's a couple ways that you can start. So first of all, if you're maybe new to Twitter or new to all these social media platforms, find and follow people that you admire. Now, this can be people like Bill Nye the Science Guy, or it can be people like Stacy, who just talked to us beforehand. But find those people, follow those people, because those people are likely amplifying accounts and blog posts and all sorts of things from other like-minded folks. So that's a great place to start. Join online and virtual meetups. Congratulations, you're already doing that by being here. These are a great way to keep in touch, as we all see in the chat here. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction, but there's so many ways to meet people online. GDG Durham sounds like a great network to be a part of, so congratulations on being a part of that. Reach out. Oh my gosh, this is such an important one. I cannot stress enough, if there is someone doing cool things that you want to be doing, reach out to them. And guess what? The worst thing that'll happen is they say no, which is fine. Maybe they're busy, or they just don't respond. I have so many examples of this in my life, of just cold reaching out to people on Twitter and DMing and saying, hey, like, I'm really interested in this. But make sure that when you reach out to folks, and there's a wonderful blog about this that I will share that my friend Allie wrote, make sure that you properly write. Don't just say, hey, I'd like to pick your brain. That's very vague. Be very specific with what you want from this person and what you want to talk about. A lot of folks like myself who maybe have a big Twitter following get a lot of reach outs and DMs and emails looking for grabbing time with someone. But make sure that you are specific with your requests, specific with what you want to learn. And sometimes they may say, hey, I don't have time to meet, but here's a bunch of resources you can take a look at. But really, there's no harm in reaching out. Ask around. Let's say maybe you really want to join a meetup group for people who are passionate about terrariums. I'm sure that there's a group that exists for that. Maybe you're really into CSS and you want to learn more CSS stuff. Reach out and ask around. These communities do exist. And if you can't find what you're looking for, create your own community. Now, I will warn you, as someone who creates their own communities for a living and does a lot of this, it is a lot to manage. So first, look for one that already exists. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Usually there's a lot of things that exist, but let's say you have a really specific niche interest. Go out there and create it. Meetup.com is a great way to do this. Eventbrite is a great way to do this. Twitter is a great way to do this. There's so many ways. I see a lot of people who are starting Discord channels or Slack channels. There's so many ways to grow your network and grow different communities yourself. So I encourage you, if you can't find what you're looking for, make it yourself. And here is a little project. So I was thinking maybe there's some folks on watching this video who are just like, Chloe, I don't want to spend a bunch of time on Twitter. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't need to add another social media platform, but how do I find these groups? Great question. So here's some 2 short links that I have here. One here is aka.ms/GDG logic. And that is a tutorial that'll teach you how to do what we do in, I'm trying to point backwards, in this video, which is aka.ms/show and tell, where fellow cloud advocate and I, Jay, talk about how you can build an Azure Logic app to literally look for a specific hashtag. So let's make an example here. Let's say you really want to get involved in 3D printing and you want to find a community around that. You can actually use Azure Logic Apps to look for the hashtag 3D printing. So you don't have to troll Twitter all day looking for that hashtag. And it will just spit it out in whatever format you want, a Slack channel, a email, whatever format you'd like. So definitely check out that very quick 10-minute video. You can even watch it on 2x speed and it'll go twice as fast and you go through it faster. But there are so many ways that you can automate this and find different communities for yourself and different tools that you can use. So if you're not a power social media user like myself and you want to limit your social time, this is a really great way to find those folks that you're looking for. All right. That is it for me. I am on Twitter at Chloe Condon. I love this kind of stuff. I love helping build communities and things like that. My DMs do get crazy though. So definitely tweet at me or shoot me a message on there and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But I am so excited to get more internet friends. I feel like every day, especially while we're all at home, I get to grow my network, or as we're calling it in this talk, my friendship circle even bigger every single day. So definitely follow me on Twitter if you're looking for more communities and community advice. And that is it from me. Diana, I will let you take it away. Ooh, you're muted.
That's okay. So that's a common thing. Imagine when you're on meetings and you have to speak, then you mute yourself. And it
To me every day.
Same here. I'm on meetings and talks every day. If you have any questions, the feed has been all love and love for everyone, even for you, and even a dad joke and everything.
Yes.
Chloe, what can I say? You have been amazing. You are such an inspiration, and I feel like we're not only like people who know each other from the ecosystem. In our case, we are sisters.
We are. We have gone to the Cabbage Patch hospital theme park together. So we have a deep connection. And you and I technically kind of met on the internet too. We knew each other from Twitter. And then we met in person at a conference, and the rest is history. Now I'm doing this meetup.
I want to bring everybody to the screen.
It's a baby.
Yes. He has decided that as soon as I was done, he was like, "I want mom," and so yes, he is wearing Star Wars. Look at that fashions.
Oh my goodness, we love a baby cameo.
So last time you saw him, Chloe, he was and you too, Diana. He was not born, so
yeah, he was incubating still.
He was incubating.
That's true. Oh my goodness, how
he's a giant. He's not appropriately sized. This is not a 5-month-old. He is wearing 1-year-old clothing. It's not appropriate at all.
Marian also has a boy. His name is Rafa. We know him as Rafita,
Yes, a little Raphael. Yeah.
I don't have a baby with me, but I do have a Katherine Johnson Barbie.
Wait, what about your skeleton baby?
Oh, my son.
What has happened?
He's taking a nap upstairs. Which
we have a son in common.
We do.
Chloe and I are raising children together. This is our son, Tierney, from the Cabbage Patch.
And Tierney does not himself have any issues with this.
No. He's our son.
Oh my goodness.
Perhaps.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just asking if he was honored by it, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Last chance, people. We're going to give you 2 minutes to enter the raffle. And in 2 minutes, I will be showing you our wheel of names, where all the names of the people that have basically filled out our little survey will show up, and we'll raffle the prizes. this is like such an awesome way to do it. I will also, needless to say that I am a big fan of all y'all. Don't you like my combination of Southern and British at the same time? It's, it's like one of those things when you live in the South. I think it's time to bring up our screen. Where is our screen? I'm going to share. Here's our wheel of names. So let's go for, okay, so the people who sign up, obviously we don't keep any of this personal information. We're going to contact you on that email address, and the only reason why we keep your email address is for the sole purpose of this raffle, just so you know. And we're going to start with the Spotify pass. Yay. Okay. Marian Alarcon. We're going to get in touch with you for the Spotify pass. Congratulations.
Boom.
Boom. And now we're going to go for one of the $50 Google Play gift cards. Let's see. Congratulations, John Fred Davis. I will personally get in touch with you to do the thing and send you your gift card.
So you have an entire audience like on the other side of your computer applauding, right? Like
exactly.
They're all social distancing though.
Let's go for the second $50 Google Play gift card. Mike Cardenas. Thank you so much. You just won a $50 Google Play credit. I was going to say credit card. At this time of night, who makes sense? At this time of day, you know. And then for a $100 Amazon gift card.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Hamilton Moreno. We'll get in touch with you so you can redeem your gift card. And that was it. We've got some more exciting prices to come, and we've got a lot in store for GDG Durham in these unprecedented times while we're in quarantine and we have to remain home. Know that we're here for you. Please contact us on Twitter. These amazing ladies are there for you. They're my mentors, my beacons, my guides, my friends, and people who I truly admire. We want to thank you for being here with us. And I don't know if there's anything y'all want to share. If you want to share anything.
Thank you, Diana, for putting on this event. And thank you to the baby.
Actually, thank you, Brock, for being so supportive of your mom. Thank you, Rafita, and friends and family who were so supportive for making this possible. And thank you, ladies. Well, this is it. We're going to get in touch with everyone else. I'm going to give a quick check to the chat, and I wanted to also share a message from John Davis. If you're interested in learning Google Cloud Platform, please join us each week where we study Google Cloud Platform. And they have study jams and hackathons and classes. So definitely let's look them up on Meetup. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.